You're in your 40s, maybe early 50s. You take care of your skin. You do treatments. You wear SPF every single day. And yet something has changed. You can see it. And no professional has ever given you a real explanation for why. It's not neglect. It's not bad genetics. It's that your body has entered a completely different biological phase. And the aesthetic protocols that worked at 35 were simply never designed for what's happening now. Today I'm going to walk you through what actually changes in your skin during perimenopause and menopause, why conventional treatments fall short at this stage, and what an integrative aesthetics protocol for Gen X women actually looks like in 2026. If you were born between 1965 and 1980, this video is for you. Stay until the protocol section, that's where everything shifts. What menopause does to your skin? Let's start with the biology, because without understanding what's happening internally, any treatment becomes guesswork. Menopause isn't just the end of your menstrual cycle. It's a full hormonal reorganization. And the skin is one of the most hormone-sensitive organs in the body. Estrogen and skin. Estrogen acts directly on fibroblasts, the cells responsible for producing collagen and elastin. When estrogen levels drop, collagen production drops with them. Research shows that in the first 5 years after menopause, women can lose up to 30% of their dermal collagen. Not over a lifetime, in the first 5 years. Beyond collagen, estrogen regulates skin hydration, dermal thickness, and wound healing capacity. When it falls, skin becomes thinner, drier, less elastic. And treatments that stimulate collagen now require different protocols because the cellular environment has fundamentally changed. Progesterone. Progesterone has anti-inflammatory and sebum-regulating effects. Its decline during perimenopause can create clinical paradoxes. Dry, tight skin in some areas and hormonal breakouts in others. This confuses everyone, patient and practitioner alike. Testosterone. Women have testosterone too, and it declines during this period. Testosterone contributes to muscular firmness, including facial musculature, and to bone density. Facial bone loss is one of the most significant drivers of structural aging that no cream will ever address. Cortisol. The hormonal fluctuations and disrupted sleep typical of menopause push the HPA axis into chronic overdrive. Chronically elevated cortisol is directly collagen destructive. It activates matrix metalloproteinases, or MMPs, which break down the dermal architecture. So the menopausal woman is dealing simultaneously with less collagen production, more collagen degradation, thinner skin, reduced hydration, and structural changes in bone and muscle. It's a perfect storm, and it requires a protocol that understands that complexity. Why conventional treatments fail? Here's the core problem. Most aesthetic protocols were developed for skin with active estrogen, and they simply haven't been updated for the hormonal reality of the 40-plus woman. The botox overuse mistake. Many women in this phase find themselves on increasingly frequent botox cycles because the effect doesn't last as long anymore. What's actually happening? With thinner skin and less dermal support, excessive neurotoxin deepens muscle atrophy and worsens the appearance of laxity. Less active muscle means less structural support for the overlying skin. The aggressive laser mistake. Ablative lasers and aggressive resurfacing procedures carry higher risk in menopausal skin, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, slower healing, prolonged inflammatory response, precisely because the regenerative capacity is compromised. The skin can no longer tolerate the same insult and produces less positive response. The structural support oversight. Fillers applied without considering bone loss and the displacement of facial fat compartments produce results that look heavy or unnatural. The face has changed its architecture, and simply restoring volume where it used to be doesn't reflect that reality. The mistake of treating skin in isolation. No external treatment, however sophisticated, can compensate for chronic inflammation, gut dysbiosis, elevated cortisol, vitamin D deficiency, and fragmented sleep. These internal factors determine the biological environment in which your treatments will, or won't, work. The Integrative protocol for Gen X. Now, what actually works? This protocol isn't opinion. It's the synthesis of what longevity science and integrative aesthetics show to be most effective for women in this phase. Pillar 1. Hormonal assessment as the starting point. Before any aesthetic protocol, the 40-plus woman needs to know where she stands hormonally. Not to self-medicate, but so that treatments make sense within her actual biological context. A patient with very low estrogen will respond differently to biostimulation than a woman in perimenopause with still fluctuating levels. The communication between gynecologist or endocrinologist and aesthetic practitioner is essential, and still remarkably rare. Pillar 2. Biostimulation as the protocol foundation. At this stage, the focus shifts from smoothing wrinkles to stimulating biology. Collagen biostimulators, poly-l-lactic acid and calcium hydroxyapatite, are the most powerful allies because they work from the inside out, recruiting fibroblasts, stimulating neocollagenesis, and improving dermal quality over time. Unlike immediate effect fillers, biostimulators respect the biological timeline of the skin. And for the menopausal woman, it's precisely this gradual, progressive process that delivers natural and sustainable results. Pillar 3. Energy-based devices with calibrated protocols. Microneedling radiofrequency, HIFU, and micro-focused ultrasound are indicated at this stage, but with protocols adjusted for thinner skin. Power settings and pulse density need to be calibrated. The goal is to stimulate fibroblasts and strengthen the SMAS without traumatizing skin with already reduced regenerative capacity. Radiofrequency has the additional benefit of improving intradermal hydration and cellular conductivity, contributing to that sense of alive skin that diminishes during menopause. Pillar 4. Photobiomodulation LED therapy. LED therapy, particularly red and near-infrared wavelengths, is an underestimated and extraordinary resource for this phase. It's not aggressive, doesn't cause inflammation, and acts directly on cellular mitochondria, increasing ATP production, reducing oxidative stress, and enhancing the cellular response to other treatments. For menopausal skin, LED can be the difference between a protocol that works and one that disappoints. Used alongside biostimulators or after radiofrequency, it accelerates tissue response. Pillar 5. Exosomes and regenerative technologies. Exosomes are one of the most promising frontiers in regenerative aesthetics. They are extracellular vesicles loaded with growth factors and messenger RNA that reprogram aged cells. For menopausal skin, which has aged at an accelerated rate, they function as a reset of cellular signaling. Not yet accessible in all contexts, but a technology every aesthetic professional needs to understand. Pillar 6. The internal foundation no treatment can replace. Anti-inflammatory nutrition, strategic supplementation, hydrolyzed collagen with vitamin C, magnesium, omega-3, vitamin D, cortisol management, and sleep quality. These aren't extras. They are the foundation that determines whether treatments will deliver results or not. A patient with chronic inflammation doesn't respond well to biostimulation. A patient with fragmented sleep has elevated cortisol destroying the collagen you just stimulated. Internal and external must work together. Gen X was the generation that learned to adapt, that grew up without the internet and raised children with smartphones, that reinvented careers, relationships, identities. And now the body asks for the same adaptability. Menopause is not the end of skin luminosity. It's the beginning of a different protocol, smarter, more integrative, more aligned with what the biology actually needs at this phase. If you're an aesthetic professional, this is the fastest growing and highest impact niche in 2026. If you're a patient, seek out professionals who speak this language, who understand your skin as part of a living system, not a surface to be treated. Leave a comment. Which piece of this information had you never heard from any professional before? I want to know what's still missing from the conversation. Like this video if it made sense to you. Share it with a woman in your generation who needs to hear this. And in upcoming videos, I'll go deeper into each of these pillars. See you then.